My dad's got, the biggest guns. Huge. He's got so many, you couldn't even carry them all.
Your dad's guns break. My dad builds 15 million bajillion guns an hour and 200 guns a minute.
Come on, guys. Let's not fight. My dad says violence isn't the answer.
Or what? Your dad gonna write us a mean email?
Dear sirs, I am deeply concerned.
Yeah, and put a frowny face in the subject line.
Yeah! Last time my dad took his dad's bike.
Wait, your dad took his bike? Cute. My dad took your bike and his dad's bike.
My dad took your dad's bike, his dad's bike, his dad's bike, and the bikes of, every other dad.
Can you please play nicely?
Oh my god, shut up, nerd!
While world leaders flex and argue over whose dad could beat up the other, let's explore who is shaping and ruling the world. So global power has been passed around like a relay baton for centuries. Ancient Mesopotamia was the world's first startup, turning mud into civilization. Egypt built giant triangles.
Excuse me, triangle? It's a polyhedron, you uncultured swine.
And Greece invented democracy and philosophy. Then Rome rolled in, conquering half the known world and inventing the toga party. Fast forward to the Middle Ages and the dominance of the Byzantine Empire, Islamic caliphates, and the Mongols.
I fathered half of you and killed the other half. Everyone calls me Genghis Khan, but you can call me Papa.
Then came the Ottoman Empire, Spain, Portugal, Britain, and France, carving up the world like it was Thanksgiving turkey. By the 20th century, the British Empire hit its peak and gave us the spotted dick.
Would you care for some spotted dick, dear sir?
Then, World War II happened, and it was America and the Soviet Union's turn to take the lead. After the Cold War, the US took center stage. But now with China rising, the EU busy arguing over cheese tariffs, and Russia stirring the pot, the world is shifting towards multipolarity.
Just a quick heads up, numbers can vary by source, and by the time you watch, some might be outdated. Global power is influenced by many factors, but to keep things simple, we're sticking with the numbers.
So, military power still decides who sits at the global cool kids table. It's all about who's got the biggest defense budget, nukes, the toughest troops, and cyber capabilities. At the top, the US struts in with a 2024 defense budget of $895 billion. That's nearly 4 times what China spends at $231.36 billion. And Russia's trailing behind with $109 billion. Meanwhile, the EU is dusting off its wallet, talking about bumping its defense spending to 3% of its GDP.
At this point, learning how to say I surrender in 27 languages is more efficient and cheaper.
As for nuclear warheads, Russia leads the Don't Mess With Us contest with 5,889 nuclear warheads. US follows with 5,244 warheads. And China's over here speedrunning the arms race, eyeing 1,000 warheads by 2030.
I'm making sure mutual destruction stays a group project, and you're not the ones doing all the work.
As for troops, China's flexing the hardest with 2 million active troops. India's not far behind with 1.45 million soldiers. And between its booming economy, rising defense budget, prime spot in the Indo-Pacific, India's playing both sides like a diplomatic ninja. It's cozying up to BRICS, an economic alliance with Brazil, Russia, China, and South Africa. And the Quad is security partnership with the US, Japan, and Australia. The US slides into third with 1.39 million troops, smaller but backed by the world's biggest wallet. Russia clocks in at 1.15 million, though with the meat grinder in Ukraine, that number is debatable. They've also added 10,000 North Korean soldiers to the mix.
You're not sending me to Ukraine, right? Right? Mother Russia, right?
I don't know. Ask Putin. Funny you think I get a say in this.
As for the EU, they're polling 1.34 million troops, with France, Germany, and Italy leading the charge. However, military dominance is no longer defined solely by troop numbers or nuclear stockpiles. Hybrid warfare, advanced drone technology, and space militarization are reshaping the battlefield. Russia and China are throwing cash at hypersonic missiles and electronic warfare, while the US flexes with the Space Force. Because if you're going to militarize, might as well do it in orbit. Meanwhile, Russia's busy testing satellite disabling weapons, and China's expanding space surveillance like it's trying to turn the entire planet into a reality show.
A couple of nations, one planet, and only one gets to ruin it all. Will it be the US's Space Force, China's expanding surveillance, Russia's nukes, or North Korea's? Well, North Korea. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Kalashnikovs.
When it comes to cyber warfare, it's now as essential as boots on the ground. The US and Russia are the heavyweights, while China's hustling to catch up. US Cyber Command Cybercom, in partnership with the NSA, launch operations like Glowing Symphony, effectively hacking ISIS back into the Stone Age.
We wanted to go back to the Stone Age, so thank you, America, I guess.
Meanwhile, US tech giants are working hand in hand with the government to fortify defenses. Because nothing says national security like Google and Microsoft tag teaming with the Pentagon. China and Russia have hackers too, but they don't have Apple, Google, and Microsoft tag teaming with their military.
We have LADAs, and that's more than enough. You stay with your iPhone 4.
It's 16 now.
Oh, they grow so fast. But unlike them, this channel won't grow on its own. So hit subscribe, давай.
The EU doesn't have a single army, more like a bunch of cousins who show up to family fights with their own gear. But collectively, they bulk up NATO, which is still the West security bouncer. In 2024, 23 out of 32 NATO members finally hit that magic 2% GDP defense target, up from just 7 members in 2022. There's even talk of pushing it to 3% with discussions heating up for 2025.
Look, we hate to say it, but Trump was kind of right all along. Don't tell him, though.
Oh, I heard you. I have the best ears, the biggest ears, tremendous ears.
God damn it.
When it comes to global military real estate, the US has over 750 bases in 80 plus countries. America's got a military outpost for every occasion.
Yo, what do you need? Parties? Wars? You need planes, tanks, maybe a little regime change on the side? I'm your guy, and the first airstrikes is on the house.
China has 8 overseas bases so far, with Djibouti as the flagship, aka China's first big step into the world's military club. Between the South China Sea and whispers of expanding into Africa and the Pacific, China started to dip its toes into expanding its global military presence. Russia has around 21 bases, mostly holding on to the good old days in former Soviet states like Belarus. But with shifting politics in places like Armenia and Syria, let's just say some of those bases are on shakier grounds than a Jenga tower. Military power is one thing, but money talks. Economic power is the ultimate flex, and it's measured in GDP, trade dominance, corporate revenues, and alliances. If you don't know, GDP reflects a country's total economic output, while purchasing power parity PPP adjusts for price differences to show relative buying power. In 2024, the US leads with a $29.17 trillion GDP, followed by China at $18.4 trillion. The EU is in the mix too, with a collective $18 trillion. They're like an economic group project where no one leads, but they still get an A. Japan's at $5.2 trillion, Germany at $4.6 trillion, and India at $3.89 trillion. But when it comes to PPP, China jumps to $35.29 trillion, the US trails at $28.78 trillion, and India's climbing fast at $14.59 trillion.
Hey China, aren't you communist?
Yes.
But aren't you spending like a capitalist, something you supposedly hate?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
Yes.
Are you going to change that?
Yes.
Can you stop saying yes?
Yes.
Oh, for the love of...
Yes.
When it comes to trade, the EU stands as the largest trading bloc, excelling in exports like machinery and pharmaceuticals. China dominates manufacturing with electronics and textiles, while the US leads in technology, aerospace, and services. On the corporate front, leading giants include Walmart, Saudi Aramco, Amazon, State Grid, and Shell. Economic alliances like the EU, BRICS, and the USMCA continue to shape global trade.
Wait, where's McDonald's? I don't see it on the list.
It's everywhere. Calm down.
No, I need it on the list.
We're exporting medicine and machinery.
Yeah, well, McNuggets are kind of medicine for the soul.
Fine. McDonald's. Honorable mention.
Thank you. Now, would you like fries with that?
The US dollar still rules the financial playground, making up 59% of global reserves in early 2024, down from over 70% in 2000. The euro follows at 20%, the Japanese yen at 6%, the British pound at 5%, and the Chinese renminbi at 2%. As for the last 8%, well, it's a mix of currencies trying to crash the party. Gold is the financial world's security blanket. And the US isn't just hoarding, it's stockpiling 8,133 tons worth $628 billion. Germany holds 3,351 tons. Italy has 2,442 tons, and France keeps 2,437 tons. But Russia, with 2,333 tons, has been on a gold buying spree. They're trying to dodge sanctions and cut their reliance on the US dollar. And when your bank account is on thin ice, a few tons of gold feels like a life raft.
Are you a Soros follower? Always attacking me with these numbers.
What? No, I'm just reading the stats.
Exactly what a Soros follower would say.
Okay, how should I put it then?
Say it right, Russia is numero uno.
You literally have less gold than Italy.
Нет, our gold's just shy.
Global power isn't just about tanks and trade anymore. It's about movies and pop stars. Space and culture are the new battlegrounds, and some nations are all in. Space agencies like NASA, CNSA, and ESA aren't just reaching for the stars, they're flexing national pride with every launch. The ISS shows teamwork, but let's just be honest, every rocket screams, "Look what we can do, haha!" Cultural exports shape minds faster than treaties. South Korea's K-pop and K-dramas captivate audiences worldwide. India's Bollywood and tech boom spread far beyond Netflix. Japan's anime and gaming cut through borders like a samurai's blade. But at the end of the day, the US still leads the pack in global cultural dominance, with Hollywood blockbusters, global music icons like Beyoncé and Taylor Swift, and tech platforms like Instagram are shaping trends everywhere.
So, who rules me?
Me!
No, me.
No, me.
No, me.
Holy yes, Sensei.
What the actual
Shh! Go watch Netflix. Oh, if you haven't already, like this video too. We're watching.
So, what do you think? Is the rise of multipolarity imminent? Or can the US sustain its global dominance in the face of China's and Russia's advancements? How might India's growing influence reshape the balance of power in Asia and globally, particularly as part of the BRICS and Quad? How significant is cyber warfare in shaping military superiority? And could nations without large standing armies dominate through digital capabilities? Could hybrid warfare and advanced technology eventually diminish the importance of traditional military assets, such as large armies and nuclear arsenals? Please let us know what you think in the comments.